What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Yankees Avenue Show on the Yankees Avenue YouTube channel. As usual, I'm Patrick Hennessy. That's Dan Rourke. Dan, how we doing on this beautiful Friday morning?
Dude, I'm doing fantastic. And the main reason why is the time has come. I am seeing Elvis this Saturday, Pat. This Saturday in Atlantic City. The movie's back in theaters on Friday. And real quick, while we're talking about it, shout out to my boy Austin Butler. I'm getting nominated for Elvis. I think he might win, bro. I'm doing good. How are you?
Yeah, well, you're not seeing Elvis. You're seeing an impersonator of Elvis.
Well, you'd think with how much I pay for the tickets that it's the real deal. But yeah, no, it's the best Elvis impersonator there is, apparently. So I'm pretty excited, man. How are you?
I'm not good, and I will never be good until Alex Rodriguez is in the Major League Baseball Hall of Fame. Let's jump right into topic number one.
That
here,
spoils
Dan.
your answer, but yeah, let's hear it.
But 2023 Hall of Fame voting took place a couple days ago. Scott Rowland was the only player to get inducted. And A-Rod, our boy, I think me and you were probably two of the biggest A-Rod fans out there. He finished with 35% of the vote. It was just a slight increase from the previous year. But, I mean, you guys know my answer already. But, Dan, does it bother you that A-Rod will likely never make the Hall of Fame?
Yeah, it bothers me, but I think a different reason than it bothers you. It's nothing against the voters. I think this is one of the few, him and Manny Ramirez, A-Rod and Manny Ramirez, that's one of the few instances I think the voters have actually kind of gotten right with the steroid era. And the reason for that is it's all A-Rod's fault. That's why I'm bothered. Even if he just took that first round of PEDs with the Rangers, if he just stayed clean from that point forward, he would have been a lock. He would have been a first rounder, no doubt about it. Like, I'm bothered by A-Rod not realizing that he had all the talent in the world where he didn't need PEDs. I think even the biggest A-Rod haters in the world would admit to that. Like, he was as naturally talented as they come. Not that we're going to get into like the Barry Bonds conversation here, but they're, in my opinion, they're Hall of Famers without a doubt. Because if you use before like steroid penalties were officially put into place, that's one thing I can understand. You played in that culture. That's fine. A-Rod, though, and this is my reasoning why, if he just used that first time, he would have been fine. 01 to 03, it was still kind of the norm, but taken in 2010, 2011, 2012. Same with Manny. He was popped in 2011. Like, what can you really expect? It was obvious by that point that if you do this stuff, you're going to be considered a cheater. You're going to be suspended, what have you. So it's unfortunate, but I don't think we'll ever get in. And it kind of sadly makes sense to me.
I guess you could say it makes sense. However, at the same time, I'm on the boat where it's like either have every single accused steroid user or reported steroid user, put them all in or keep them all out. And I feel like we're at the point where there's numerous guys who have reportedly taken some sort of substances, right? I mean, there's a few guys already in the hall. So it's like, bro, at this point, let everybody in. I don't
See,
care.
I can't ever agree with that logic. And I agree with you on that point that there's definitely guys that are in right now that some of them we do actually know they took steroids, but like it's not really put on their legacy. Mike Piazza being one of them. There's some others as well.
David
But
Ortiz.
once again, David Ortiz, even him, I'm one of the few Yankee fans that doesn't argue against Ortiz getting in compared to A-Rod because he had what I just described with A-Rod just that first go around. Ortiz tested positive in the Mitchell report in the early 2000s. It's not like he was using roids in like the 2010s or anything like that. What if a player right now, say over the next 20 years, one of the greatest of all time, Fernando Tatis Jr., for example, goes on to hit 600 home runs, first ballot Hall of Famer, right? But we find out used roids his entire career. Is that still just let him in? The era has something to do with it. When you took it, like the context does matter, you know?
I
In my opinion.
guess, but also at the same time, I mean, we're looking at guys who have insane career numbers. You know what I mean? It's like Barry Bonds is the all-time home runs leader, and the fact that he's not in the Hall of Fame, but a guy like Scott Rowland is, and that's not pissing on Scott Rowland. It's just kind of going to show that I don't take the Major League Baseball Hall of Fame seriously anymore, and I can't blame people who feel the same way, bro. When I look at like a landmark that's supposed to honor some of the greatest players of all time, and you don't have many of the top greatest players of all time, I don't take it seriously. And that's why when Hall of Fame induction ceremonies come around in the summer, I don't watch, bro, because I genuinely don't care because I view the Major League Baseball Hall of Fame as a joke.
Well, and the ceremonies are like the most boring things ever.
Yeah.
But Bonds, I get. Clemens, I get. I totally
Pete
hear you. And I
Rose.
align with you. Well, that's also a different conversation. But let's keep it centered around A-Rod here. Don't you kind of understand why he's not in the Hall of Fame? No, I know we both want him
No.
in there, like in an ideal world. So you really, I'm the biggest A-Rod fan in the world, but dude, it got
Bro,
messy,
but no,
really
but
messy.
here's the thing. Here's the thing. Where does it ever say that if you test positive for steroids, you are no longer eligible to be in the Hall of Fame? Alex Rodriguez is on the ballot. He's eligible to be a Hall of Famer. And by looking at career numbers, he's one of the greatest baseball players to ever touch the field. He's a Hall of Famer.
Well, Sure, but he looked at the media, bro, in 2009 and said, "Look at me from this day forward." And it was a fairy tale comeback at that point because won the World Series in '09, had a very clutch regular season and postseason. All four seasons later to get caught up again in PEDs right after pretty much getting a clean slate amongst Yankee fans, baseball fans, probably like I said, the writers at that time. If he just had that first go around, he would have been okay. He would have gotten in, probably still would have been first rounder. But like you had to know what was coming when you do that. Same with Manny, dude. Like Manny would have definitely been a no-brainer, but I understand why a voter wouldn't vote for him.
I guess we differ.
We do differ, man. It's sad though because A-Rod's dude. A-Rod was the man. It's very
He
unfortunate.
still
Very
is.
unfortunate.
No, he still
A-Rod
is.
is the man. Absolutely, absolutely. I'm glad you said that. He is still the man.
Yeah.
And we want him to come on the Yankees Avenue Show soon. So A-Rod, if you're watching this, man,
We're waiting. We're waiting, A-Rod. But moving on to topic number 2, the Yankees are expected to have a City Connect uniform for the first time by the end of the 2023 season. We've been waiting on it for a couple years now. Seems like it's finally going to happen. Dan, how do you feel about the Yankees doing this and then also maybe like a more permanent alternate uniform?
yeah. So one, I think the City Connect, it will become permanent. So once they get it, like they'll probably be able to wear it in 2024 and beyond. I'm for it, dude, as long as it's not ugly. Like you really got to make sure it looks nice. Hire the best designers possible. And honestly, bring in some Yankee fans to like put it through like a
focus
attractiveness filter or something like that, just to make sure like nothing leaves a room that is going to be embarrassing to the brand or just doesn't look right. I think what they should do is take a little note from the 2019 Players Weekend, just from the color on color, not black on black per se, although that did look dope. Midnight blue on midnight blue, some sort of alternate jersey or City Connect jersey, whatever it may be, revolving around that. As for the logo, some people have mentioned like, a Statue of Liberty, put that on there. And if you really want to get into it, like maybe take some, I don't know, Bronx related artwork. I still think they should keep it some sort of like Yankee elegance to it. Maybe bring back the idea from the 70s where they had the inverted uniform, white pinstripes with that navy on navy I was just talking about. I would be so for it. My only rule is, and this is if I was in charge, don't wear it at home. I think it should be a road only thing. When you're in Yankee Stadium, you wear the pinstripes, and that is that. The only exception I have to that would not be opposed to like a Sunday cream color pinstripe alternate uniform. So on Sunday day games, you wear like the 50s style where it has like that kind of like cream or like old fashioned looking jersey. Like you look back at like the 2008 picture of Jorge Posada, Yogi Berra, and who were the other two there? Was it it probably was it David Cohn and Don Larson, whoever it was. Yeah, maybe, but you can see the difference in the color of the uniform. I think that would be a kind of nice little throwback thing to do on Sundays. But yeah, that's where I stand. How about you?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like you kind of know where I stand on all things like nuanced. Bro, I've been advocating for an alternate uniform for years. Bro, remember when we were like aspiring journalists? I wrote an entire article about why the Yankees need to add an alternate uniform. And it's a pretty simple thing. I mean, going past City Connect, because those are a little bit more intricate design wise, bro, the Yankees could easily just take one of those spring training uniforms, one of like the navy blue with like the white Yankee symbol on the chest, and you could rock with that as like a road alternate. I don't see a problem with that. I think that the Yankees should have had a road alternate for a long time now. Navy blue with the gray pants is the most beautiful uniform combination that the Yankees have, and I think it's a shame they only use it in spring training.
I'm with you. I will say though, because there's times I pull it up in MLB The Show, right, where I dream of this alternate reality, and I'm like, I'm gonna wear an alternate uniform today. So I put on the spring training jersey, and it doesn't look as badass as I want it to. It has spring training vibes. So like, yeah, I like the base of the idea is good. I just still think if you did, what even is the phrasing for this? I keep saying color on color, but like,
it's like
if they were to do midnight blue on midnight blue. You know what the phrase is? I don't know, but you know what I'm talking about. I think that's where you go with, just because 2019 Players Weekend, which I hated at first. Were you the same way? When they first came out, I was like, these are repulsive. And I still stand by the white ones where they look like
the white ones
coloring
were
books.
bad. Yeah.
They literally looked like blank coloring pages. But dude, and the midnight blue especially is what's so key to all this, because it's so far off from navy, which is crazy to say, and that's why I don't like to say navy anymore. Like the midnight blue is pretty much a blue that's as close as black as you can get.
To be honest, like you don't know what they're gonna go with for the City Connect. Like who would have ever thought that the Boston City Connect ones were gonna be like bright yellow and
that's what scares me, because those were hideous.
We
kind of put those to an ending in 2021 after the Stanton walk-up. I don't think they wore those anymore.
Bro, the Yankees ones might be like bright teal with like Statue of Liberty spikes sticking out. Like you don't know.
For any other team, yes, but that would not fly with the Yankees. I hear what you're saying, though. Like, we definitely don't know what to expect with these jerseys. All I know is I'm for it, and just more
I'm
overall,
very
like
for it.
a general just alternate uniform to wear on the road, sign me up. I'm curious what the
Yeah.
comments say about this one. I feel like our age might be a little more for it, the older crowd, which I understand, maybe
Why
not so much,
wouldn't
but
you be
comment
for it
down
though?
below.
No, no, no,
No,
no.
I get it. I mean, listen, if you're an 80-year-old Yankee fan and you grow up watching where a fan or an organization based on like tradition, history, all this stuff, like you kind of want to keep things the same way they always are. Remember,
No.
we're just talking about a sports organization here, so it's nothing all that deep. But like, I could
But
understand
that's
where
what I'm saying.
one
It's
might be
not
coming
that
from.
deep, bro. Like I don't want to keep things the
I'm with
same for
you. I'm
hundreds
with
of
you. And I
years.
think, and we'll talk about this next week potentially, but this also goes along with like the facial hair policy. Anything regarding like the cosmetic design of the Yankees on either end, it's not that deep. Like, I don't think anybody should be losing their brains over it if like this does happen, which it apparently is confirmed to be happening, the alternate jersey.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm excited.
We'll see. But yo, moving on, topic number 3 here. Dan, I don't know if you saw, but Gleyber Torres was ranked by MLB Network as the number 10 best second baseman in Major League Baseball. What are your thoughts on that? Because I feel like I was looking at Twitter to see a lot of Yankees fans' responses. And I mean, as expected, it was split kind of 50-50. I mean, you have half of the fan base who still loves Gleyber and wants him to, I don't even know if I can say like bounce back to the player that he was, but just kind of root for him to do well. And then you have the other half who's like, yo, Gleyber's lazy. It's like the Gary Sanchez effect now, where it's like Gleyber's lazy. He's not good. Get rid of him. But let me hear your thoughts on what you think about MLB Network's ranking.
Dude, I got to own up the L. And I did it a few weeks ago, I believe, because initially, right after the season ended, I was in my George Steinbrenner phase. I was like, get rid of everybody. And Gleyber Torres was included in that. Nah, yo, shout out to MLB Network because I think they got this one right, which is rare these days. I mean, like, I haven't really watched these player rankings like for years, ever since in 2019, they put Aaron Judge at like the 12th best player in baseball. And that kind of started my like real like defending of Aaron Judge because of how bad that was on their part. But yeah, it wasn't this video or this list that they came out with that got me thinking about it. But like I said, a couple weeks ago, I was looking at his baseball reference page, and you look at the fact that he had a 4.1 WAR, and then it hit me. I was like, why am I acting as if this is some sort of problem with the Yankees? And not that I ever truly thought that, but even just from the standpoint of not appreciating him enough or underrating him, yeah, I think a lot of Yankee fans have, maybe because of how highly touted he was coming up and the 2019 season he had, maybe our expectations were set pretty high offensively, which maybe he can't reach that peak anymore. But the 4.1 WAR I just mentioned, that's his career high. So that being
Really?
the case, yeah, because of the defense. In 2019, he had the 38 homers, but the defense wasn't great. I think he only finished like a 3.5 or something like that. Last year, 4.1 only hit 24 homers, but
Yeah, but you
and
don't
it,
you don't think that that's like a little, I hate to cut you off, but you don't think that that's like just a little bit misleading in the sense of, if even if like you include those WAR numbers there, I'm still taking 2019 Gleyber over 2022 Gleyber any day of the week. You know what I mean?
yes. See, I don't know. And here's the thing, because am I including August as to what Gleyber really is? Because
I'm including the whole season.
no, I understand, but like, I think you do got to look into the context of things. Like, for 5 out of the 6 months, Gleyber Torres was, in my opinion, the best version of Gleyber Torres that we ever saw. Knowing that player exists, I'll take that over what we know we got in 2019, which both are really good. I'm starting to appreciate him, I think, a little more than I was a few months ago.
Yeah, and I think that's fair because I mean, but also at the same time, you can't really knock people for being disappointed with what we've gotten from him in the past couple of years, right? Especially when you look back 2018, 2019, like you said, he was so highly touted coming up. And now one guy who was ranked above Gleyber Torres was Colton Wong, right? And I
Yeah.
looked it up. I was like, yo, there's no way the past couple seasons that Colton Wong has been a better second baseman than Gleyber Torres. Past 2 seasons, he's had a higher OPS than Gleyber Torres, which is insane to think about. And if I would have told you that after the 2019, if I would have showed you this top 10 ranking after the 2019 season, you'd have thought I was insane, bro. Because don't forget, especially after that playoffs, when Gleyber Torres basically carried the Yankees, right? We all thought that he was like the shortstop of the future. He was in the same class as like the Tatises and
Not for
all
me.
those.
No, I was calling up WFAN when people were going. That was when people were saying Gleyber was better than Judge. Outlandish as hell at the time.
Well, I
Still
mean
to this day
that's.
is. But I'm saying I think the hype on Gleyber also got a little bit too high. And I hear what you're
But
saying.
can you
I'm
blame
kind of
people for that though?
I'm blaming myself. So yeah, sure. But I'm also kind of throwing that aside. All I care about is this current version of Gleyber. If you were to tell me going into 2018 when he was the number 3 prospect in all of baseball that he was just going to end up being like a 4 to maybe a 5-win second baseman, that's still really, really good. I think something that we fall into as fans with prospects is you'll see a guy, say take Volpe, for example. like automatically, I think Yankee fans will consider if Volpe doesn't finish his career with like, I don't know, being the best shortstop next to Derek Jeter of all time, like they'll almost look at it as an automatic failure. Where it's like, no, first of all, a prospect getting into the big leagues and becoming an established, legitimate, good baseball player, that's already a W. That's already a success. So knowing that Gleyber is a good second baseman and can be as good as a 5-WAR player, we have him for 2 more years. I'm just saying, I think we just don't, we haven't really, we're not as appreciative of Gleyber maybe as we should be.
Here's the thing. I think regarding Gleyber Torres, I think that yes, he's a good player, but I think that the appearance of it isn't that good, right? Because bro, you could have a really good meal for dinner, but it might not look like an artisan dish. And I think that's the problem with Gleyber Torres, because I think that there's a lot of instances where like, bro, when he's bad, like it just looks really bad. Just in terms of like,
I've heard so many people say that, and you're describing it very closely to how we would Gary back in the day. I know you've made that comparison before.
not necessarily.
I think it's very. I think it's, but like, are you talking about like the Gary tag, for example, that sort of thing where he just looks like he has no idea what he's doing?
Okay, so there's
because I don't get that as much with Gleyber, but
there's stuff like that where it's like there's just kind of like boneheaded things that you're kind of like, yo, what just happened there? Yes. But then also at the same time, I feel like there's also like narratives pushed through the media that lead people to think poorly of Gleyber Torres. Like one, bro, I mean, you have Brian Cashman coming out and publicly saying like, yo, Gleyber Torres showed up out of shape, or you have like
terrible.
Like the trade rumors where that apparently affected Gleyber Torres' performance. Laughable. Like these are just things where you don't really hear it about a guy like DJ LeMahieu. And I feel like that's why fans don't really get on DJ LeMahieu as much when he struggles, because that narrative isn't pushed about him. You know what I mean? I think Gleyber and Gary are two victims of just kind of being villainized and maybe being like scapegoats for the Yankees, just in terms of Gary Sanchez was a prime example of it. I mean, we've heard so much stuff come out in the media about like Gary Sanchez's work ethic and his lack of hustle. And I feel like Gleyber Torres has been the new victim of that. So I think that's why fans kind of come after him a little bit.
But the thing is, though, and that's different, is for Gary, it's almost a little more reasonable for you to be upset with those sort of things, because by the end of his Yankee tenure, like the play was just, it didn't make it justified. Gleyber, one, I think a lot of the stuff you're mentioning, which is said by a lot of the fan base, can be a little bit overblown. He has boneheaded plays. I don't think they're like as frequent as some may think they are. But also, once again, he's a 4-WAR second baseman. The good outweighs the bad. You know, like it's nothing that you can't really get over. And I'm liking Gleyber, man. Like, but I feel I'm so bipolar as a fan. I feel like
I will say though,
yeah,
I can't get too attached to Gleyber Torres as a player, just because I view him as having zero future with the New York Yankees. And like, that's just me being completely honest. I viewed Gary Sanchez the same way on a scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being like, yo, he's 100% signing a long-term contract here. Gleyber Torres for me is at like a 3, bro. I don't see any chance of him signing.
The only way I see that, not the only way, but if I were to think that was likely, I would think it would be because Gleyber has like a nice year this year, and then in 2024, like balls out of his mind to a point where like the Yankees think he like outperformed and he gets a crazy bag from another team. But I don't think there's any reason not to think that. And this is the realization I've kind of come to. Like, who says Gleyber Torres is a bust? I know you're not saying that, but that's kind of the mindset I'm coming to now. And with that not being the case, like, why wouldn't you want to really bring him back? I'm so pissed that 1 month happened. If August didn't happen, which it did, and a big part of it is on Gleyber, if he was legitimately affected by trade rumors, which is a joke, and that has to be figured out. But outside of that 1 month, man, like Gleyber was having a freaking great year.
No, and I feel like I want to make it clear that I don't dislike Gleyber Torres.
No, you're not coming off that way. No,
I just don't have the fondness of I'm indifferent towards Gleyber. You know what I mean? And I can understand both sides. I can understand the people who love him and think that he's kind of being underrated by Yankee fans. And I also understand the side of people who completely dislike Gleyber Torres. So I get both sides of the argument, but whatever.
You're a fucking sheep, bro. Go on.
Why? Because I can understand both sides of an argument.
Yeah, give me a break. No, I'm playing. Good combo though.
Moving on to the next topic here. For the first time ever, the Major League Baseball schedule will be balanced between the American and National League. And you know what that means, Dan? The Yankees will now play every single team. I'm going to be honest, bro. I love this because, I mean, bro, it gets boring through 162 games of a baseball season to just be playing the Blue Jays, the Orioles, the Red Sox.
I don't agree with that. I am in the boat of, if you're going to play some National League teams, play them all. Something weird about me.
You can only do that by taking away the divisional series. You know what I mean? Or else you don't
Well,
have time
lessening
for
them.
everything
Yeah,
else.
no, it makes sense to me. But I also like I love the idea of like I still look at the American League and National League as totally separate things. Like I never pay attention to who the league leaders are in the NL unless it's like me producing baseball today. I hardly even like check on their games or standings or nothing. And I'm reading the book right now. This Pinstripe Empire by Marty Appel. And I'm at the very beginning right now. And it's so cool. Like the rivalry between like the American League and the National League, like it was like a business war the very early 1900s. And it just, I always liked the idea of like two separate things. It was cool. But since that's obviously not the case and this is happening, you didn't even ask me the question yet, did you?
No, I didn't.
I was about to
You
just
want
give
me
my
to?
answer. Yeah, ask me the question, then I can give my answer.
So Dan, with that being said, give me the one National League series this season that you're most excited for.
Okay. I went with a couple only because when you actually look at it, I think there's an obvious one that we're both going to pick. But since you gave me the liberty of going first,
I
I will
don't
say it.
know. I
Maybe
don't
not. I don't
know if
know.
we're gonna have the same one.
Okay. So I'm pumped for Yankees at Dodgers.
Okay.
And a big reason for that is, and talked about this earlier, 2019. One, it's always dope when they play. It's very rare. Two, last time they were there, they're wearing the Players Weekend jerseys. The only downside of that was the fact that you didn't get to see traditional Dodger whites, Yankee Road grays. Always a classic. Really pumped for that. You know, I won't give my next one actually in case it's yours, but I have a couple. So Yankees Dodgers for me.
My main one, I'm gonna say is Yankees Padres. Just because I
Mm,
mean, bro, the
when is that?
Padres are. I'm not sure. I believe it's in June, but I could be
Let me
wrong.
see.
In the Bronx, I'm almost positive. But bro, the Padres are just that team for me. I mean, you look at them on paper, bro. I mean, you're looking at Juan Soto, Manny Machado, Xander Bogaerts now.
So it's
They're
May
coming
at
rough, right?
home.
May.
May at home. And guess what? May 26th to the 29th. You know what the May 26th is, Pat?
Your birthday.
My birthday. Shit, maybe we should go. Yo,
I'm
let's
down.
go. May 26th. We'll make it announce it right here, unless you're busy for some whack reason. May
No,
26th. Let's go to the game.
bro, it's
Yankees
exactly 4 months
Padres.
from now. I'm so down.
Yo, Yanks have viewers. You should come too. I'm with you. It's a good pick though.
Yeah, no, I mean, bro, like the Padres are just like a fun, and I think that
They
that's like
are.
the funnest part of the whole thing. And I kind of relate to you when I say when I was younger, I viewed the National League as like a total separate entity. Okay, I know
I
you
still
you
do,
didn't
but yeah.
you didn't really watch like WWE as a kid, but like, bro, I was heavily into WWE, and they had like Raw and SmackDown, and it's like the wrestlers on Raw wouldn't go on
Mhm.
SmackDown, and then like when they combine, then it's like a big deal. You know what I
Dude,
mean?
huge. And that's why like I respect the early World Series so much. One, because just to get there, you had to be the best in your own league, which I think like if that were the case now, that'd be a nightmare. It'd be so goddamn hard to get to the World Series. But also
Yeah.
just the fact of it was literally the best from each league that you didn't face once throughout the regular season, but you're the best from the AL, best from the NL, and that's your World Series. Like the idea of that is just sick. I understand why they're doing this though. I mean, like marketability wise, like it's a no-brainer. I mean, like the
No, it's
fact that
big.
we're gonna see Judge and Tatis
We're gonna
on
see
a
Trout versus
graphic,
Harper,
like
bro.
all that
Like,
shit. Yeah, which is cool. Also, random. I'm pumped to play the Rockies because we're going there to Colorado. And I think I'm pretty sure the last time we played them in Colorado was 2016. They were in the
yeah,
stadium,
bro.
I believe, last year, but also 2019. But we haven't been to Colorado since 16. And I just remember it was such a shit show when we were there at the time. Like that may have been like the low point of Yankee baseball for me. It was like, I think June 2016, the Yankees were absolute ass. One of the only times in my life I can remember where they were under 500 in a significant part of the season. They were like 23 and 27, some type. Like
Yeah.
Sterling Castro was their 4-hitter type thing. So it'll be cool to see them now back. It's July when they go there. So it'll kind of be like total flip. Last time we saw them play there, they were the ass, kind of like the joke of my Yankee watching tenure, that team was. And then now come back,
No,
hopefully
but
at that time
bro,
with the AL East.
like this is a different topic in its own right, but I really like those 2016 Yankees because it was something brand new and it led into an era, especially with that trade deadline, bro.
Yes,
It led to something so new and something that we weren't used to before, just in terms of like the baby bomber stuff. It was so much fun.
dude. July, mid-July on 2016 was fun as hell.
Yeah.
April through early July, definitely probably the
Yeah.
worst baseball I've ever watched. I mean, you're coming off 2015, making the playoffs. You kind of have some sort of aspirations for the season. A-Rod falls off a cliff. Tex falls off a
I'll
cliff.
never forgive
Majority
the
of the Yankee
Yankees for
lineup
that,
was just
bro.
not good. The only guy that really did hit early on, at least, was Carlos Beltran. Trade him. Dude, now I just feel like going through the whole trade deadline. Trade him for Dylan Tate. Got him from the Rangers. Flipped him over a couple years later to the Orioles for Zach Britton. He's now like a legitimate piece. One of actually probably like
Yeah.
the better ends of, if you want to call it, like a baby bombers in a way. He's one of like probably a top 5 success in a way. Dylan takes. He's like a good legitimate reliever. And then
Yeah.
dude, I remember when we traded Andrew Miller. I was at my job at the White Oak Market in Seaside. I shed a tear, believe it or not because I was missing Andrew Miller. And Chapman leaving or being traded was a factor of this too. It was the overall mindset. Like I grew up with the big bad Yankees playoffs every single year. They're the shit. A few years later, here I am, and they're like selling, and it was just like such a hit to me. I was like, well, "What is this? This isn't the Yankees." I've had a few moments in my life like that. Like I remember when they first missed the playoffs in 2013. Like I just like, from a metaphoric sense, like fell on my knees. Like I was just like, "What is this? Like this doesn't happen. Like what do you mean the Yankees aren't going to make the playoffs?" So like all that stuff, like pretty much. And this capsulates my point of the Rockies thing. Like 2013 to 2016, that era of baseball has made me appreciate so much. While we haven't won the World Series, just kind of being like a big bad dog again, like first in the AL East, packed Yankee Stadium, like all that stuff. Like it's cool to see the circle of life of my Yankee watching tenure, and that's what this Rocky series is going to do for me, Pat. You know,
I like it. But yo, moving on, topic number 5, emails.
I
Listen,
thought that was topic number 5. I'm dumb as hell. I was going on a tangent. I thought we were done, but yeah, word.
send in your emails. The Yankees Avenue Show at gmail.com. We're gonna start just throwing in some fan question emails every episode. So the one for this week is actually a really good one from Jacob Bergardi. Dan, who do you think should be on the cover of MLB 23, the show? The announcement is going to be on Monday. So
perfect.
Who are we thinking?
Yeah. All right. So the answer is a no-brainer. Who should be on it? It's Aaron Judge. I know he was just on it in 18, but one, that's like what, 5 years ago now, 6 years ago now. So it's been a while. Two, who else is there really to go with? I mean, if there was a clear other option, some still probably say Mike Trout. I mean, sure, but we'll get there.
Bro, I hate you. No, Dan.
Are you gonna say Mike Trout? Don't tell me Mike Trout. Bro. Oh my God. He's the most boring motherfucker on the planet. I love him. Wish you were on my team. I wish you were on my team, Pat. He's great, but he's not marketable. Like
he's never been on a cover of a Major League Baseball game ever.
Which is dumb, but you know what you do it? You do it how like Brady on Madden 20, like the GOAT version. That's what Mike Trout in the last year of his career, that's when it should make sense. That's when, to me, I think it would make sense. But besides Judge, besides Trout, everybody else that would go on there has kind of already been on there. Besides maybe Julio Rodriguez, I would say. Maybe I just called him Julio, but Julio Rodriguez, I would accept. It was more of a brain thing. I know his name's Julio. Who'd you say?
Machado, Soto.
No, there's a certain, you can tell right away, bro.
I know, but okay.
Imagine covering Juan Soto on it, doesn't do me. Machado, sure. I'll give you Machado.
No.
God, you're on your crap today now, bro.
No. Let's just be honest here. I know a lot of people are in on like the Julio Rodriguez to be on the cover thing. Don't get me wrong, bro. Julio Rodriguez is a dog. He has an entire career to go. And if we're going to sit here and say Mike Trout isn't like widely marketable, bro, you're telling me Julio Rodriguez is more marketable than Mike Trout?
I can't give an answer either way, which kind of gives you your answer.
The average
it should be a no-brainer.
The average person who walks into GameStop, are they going to know Julio Rodriguez over Mike Trout?
Do you think people knew who fucking Javier Baez was a couple years ago?
No, it was a stupid cover.
No, it was. But still, Mike Trout, I think he has a place on the cover at some point. But I also understand why they haven't every single year, like why they just pass on him. He's boring. He really, really is.
I think Vlad would be a smarter choice than Julio Rodriguez.
Well, I wouldn't even be against it. Like, I don't. Are you like? I don't understand. Where you think I feel like I'm not even advocating crazy for Julio Rodriguez. I'm just saying Judge is my guy. Outside of him, I'm trying to think of ones that would maybe be as good.
Trout would be my guy, bro.
I'm good off Trout. If Vlad were coming off 2021 numbers, like, all right, word, that's cool. He's a bitch though. So no.
What about a pitcher?
They don't do that.
When was the last time a pitcher was on the cover?
On MLB, that 2K did that. MLB didn't.
Yeah, they
go
put
on
this
year. Dude, Cole would be sick.
Verlander.
Another thing about Julio, the Mariners teal would look sick. Admit that.
It would. Okay,
as like the base. Yeah,
it would look cool. It would look.
That's the thing. Cool. I think about like the whole cover, right? I mean, like the Padres. Well, I like their uniforms. I just think their base yellow in itself isn't all that nice. And they just did Tatis, so like I don't know.
No, they didn't.
In 21, now you're just playing with me, bro. We gotta get out of here.
No, they didn't.
Well, let's go in 21.
Oh wait, yes, they did.
Yeah, well, let's go through them. Okay, so starting with Judge in 18, you had Judge in 18. 19, you had Harper without the Phillies uni. Oh wait, no, he eventually.
No, he was in the Phillies. Yeah.
Yeah. 21 or 20 was Baez. 21 Tatis. 22 Shohei.
Wow, the Baez cover is stupid as hell.
I don't think they'll do Judge again, but people shouldn't be mad if they do. Like, it makes total sense. He had a
You know,
season for the ages.
bro,
He had 62 home runs, by the way.
to wrap this point up, I think that
Please.
this whole conversation is kind of just making me realize Major League Baseball, bro, there's a problem with marketing.
No, there's not. No, see, now
There
you're being
is.
silly.
No.
There's
I'm
stars
dead
in the game.
serious, bro.
There's stars in the game. Some just wouldn't
Not
look
at the
great on
same
MLB The
level
Show cover.
as other sports, bro. Not at the same
No,
level.
but that's how baseball will forever be, and it'll always be an L if we try to compare it to a national sport or a regional sport. We have regional stars. That's how it's just always going to be, outside of rare exceptions like the New York Yankees, Aaron Judge. No, it does. I mean, I'm sorry. Julio Rodriguez playing for the
Bryce
Seattle
Harper's
Mariners,
a star.
he'll never be as popular as, say, yes, Bryce Harper's a star, but also, I mean, like, he was essentially the LeBron of baseball. Like, he's been in the news since 2016. Sports Illustrated putting him on the cover at age 16, or not 2016, since his age 16, since he was 16. That's what kind of puts him on the map. Like, and obviously, if you play, there's a celebrity side of it, is what I'm saying. It's more than just being good. And obviously, that's the main part of it. Like, if Judge weren't good, if Harper weren't good, they wouldn't be at high as a point they are. But there's a certain flair. There's like a spice to it, which Harper, you knew he had from day one.
I think that's the sports problem, though, bro.
I don't really think it's a problem. I think baseball is more filled with stars now than shit since fucking the steroid era. Young talent.
They're not.
Yeah,
bro.
And also, I think
during the steroid era, I mean, you look at guys like they were A-list celebrities, bro. Alex Rodriguez and Derek Jeter were A-list celebrities.
One, I'm not saying it's more. I'm just saying it's probably our most amount of stars since the steroid era. But also, I mean, let's bring up those A-list celebrities, because who exactly are they? I mean, Jeter
in today's game?
No. Back then, I'm saying, like, who are these A-list celebrities? You had Jeter, you had A-Rod. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
So that's a
Barry
New York.
Bonds.
Yeah, Barry Bonds. But think about this. Who can you really name? And even Bonds might be
David
a stretch.
Wright.
I mean, but this is the point I was about to make. Take New York out of it. And that's the thing. It's the same as it's always been. Who's the one A-list celebrity we have in the game right now? Aaron Judge. Well, if you try to tell me he's not A-list, Pat, I will lose my fucking mind.
No.
He's A-list now. He's
become A-list.
And that's another point. I don't know if I even like fully made this when we were talking about the video the other day. Like, it's getting to a level now that's not normal for baseball or typical for baseball. Judge's celebrity status.
It's at a Jeter level almost. Yeah.
It's now he just all he has left is to win, and he will be Jeter. Right.
Yeah.
Dude, good ass show today, man. How long do you think we went?
Yeah.
Kind of long?
I would assume
30
an
minutes?
hour and 40.
Good God. Yeah, you're crazy. Yo, Yankees Ave Clips channel. Follow that. I'll link it below. It's called the Yankees Ave Show Clips. Or no, just Yankees Ave Show Clips. Drop a like on this video. Subscribe to this channel, please. Get me to 100K. Follow Pat over at
Twitter at Unhinged Patrick, Instagram at True Hennessy.
Dan on Rourke on Twitter for me, Yankees Avenue on Instagram. Do we have any other announcements? I always have so many things when I'm in the shower before the show that I'm like, I have to mention this in the show.
You shower before, I shower after. Maybe we should just do it.
Well, I happen to work out a little bit, so like I'll do this, and then I'll shower again after the gym. So but I guess that's it. Yeah. Follow Yankees Avenue on Instagram too. Trying to put out some nice clips of me and Pat's face, and TikTok. Yeah. What's your TikTok, by the way?
My TikTok is Unhinged Patrick, same as my Twitter.
Oh, Unhinged Patrick, yeah. Same as your Twitter. You should have, like, can you change your Instagram name now, bro? True Hennessy's gone, as sad as it is.
I know. I mean, I do have the Unhinged Patrick Instagram handle.
True Hennessy was Pat's, like, name until, your Twitter got suspended a few years ago?
I don't want to talk about it. Yeah, it was sad. Bro, I literally got suspended for posting a copyright song. I'm like, come on.
You shouldn't copyright shit, bro. I don't ever do that. See you guys next time. Let's go, Yankees.
Her body's going like September.